And we are live. I'm here with one of my absolute favourites, Modestas Bukauskas. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you very much, Katie. Thanks again for having me on. And you are also one of my favourites. So it goes both ways.
Stop it. No, carry on. I have just seen on Instagram your dad post you walking through the snow in just your shorts and sliders. Are you a nutter?
Well, I guess, if I'm going to have the nickname the Baltic Gladiator, do you know what I mean? I might as well make it seem that more realistic. It's just because, we just finished the session and I think I wanted to take a shower upstairs. So, I thought, what's the point of me putting on my clothes when I'm sweaty? I just literally just came out of the sauna. I thought, do you know what? Let's go back to the old Eastern European days. Lithuanian day. All we needed then was just like a river that's just filled with ice, and then it would have been absolutely perfect, Rocky style.
Do you do ice baths?
It just depends on whether I'm feeling sore or not.
Yeah.
I mean, I know a lot of fighters do that sort of thing, but I mean, as of late, my recovery's been like really good. I think just my body's just sort of adjusting and adapting to all the training, so my body's just recovering quite well, to be honest, I find. So I mean, yeah, if your body feels bad, I think it's good to do it, but at the minute, I mean, I'm feeling all right, so
Yeah.
I don't want to put myself through it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't blame you. Even the Baltic gladiators doesn't get
yeah, exactly.
You had surgery a little while back. Like, how's the recovery from that going? I saw you doing again on Instagram all kinds of crazy like jumping exercises and explosive stuff.
Yeah.
So it looked pretty good.
Yeah, my physio had a bit of a go at me for doing that. She's like, Modestas, you're not supposed to be doing that at the minute. Take your time. What's wrong with you? You over enthusiastic bugger. You know what I mean? So, I mean, everything's went good. Everything's went in the right direction. I had really good people take care of me. My physio, Leanne, Distinct Physiotherapy, for anyone that wants to go and check her out. I believe she's based in the Radlett, St Albans area. But she's been very good at sort of getting me up to speed as quickly as possible. When I had the operation, I didn't know how long it was going to be or what my knee would feel like, because I had a similar operation on my right leg, but they managed to repair that one, and that's why that one took like a couple of months. But this one, I didn't really know. But already, as soon as I came off the operation table, I'm like, oh well, I'm walking, so surely it can't be too bad. But and then I mean, I had a really good doctor. I actually, via the UFC, I had to get some checks done, and then I sort of got in contact with him. He's a really friendly, really good guy, really good doctor in London. And then we've just been in good contact ever since. And then he helped me get the operation. Then everything went smooth sailing. I mean, I wrote on my board that I'll recover in 4 weeks, and sure enough, I mean, obviously, my physio said, like I said, you got to take your time, but I was already doing most of my movements within about 4 or 5 weeks, and then back to like full training pretty much second week of January. I already texted my manager the second week of January and said, listen, I'm ready to fight anytime in March, so let's get it going. So it's good. I think the recovery also made me stronger in other areas as well, so if anything, it just added a bit more muscle to the gigantic booty that I have. So, I mean, there's definitely some positives that come to it as well from other areas.
So the physio was okay with you taking the fight in March?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, your physio is trying to safeguard you from having anything potentially further on down the line, and that was her main concern. And the thing is, I'm very happy that she took care of everything the way that she did, because other people may have thought, oh yeah, you can do this, you can do that, or you can do this, that, and or whatever. But she had specific exercise that she told me to do. She told me like the exact game plan that I need to do to get back as quick as possible. But she wants to make sure that longevity is the key here. We don't just want to get back to fighting and then for something wrong to happen again. So she's taken the appropriate time and she's had the appropriate knowledge to get me back on track as quickly as possible. And now I feel as strong as ever. So I'm doing everything as I was doing before, if not better. So I'm very grateful and very happy that I have these sort of people helping me out. So it's great.
Are you a good patient?
I mean, do you know what? After I finished my operation, I've never had any adverse reactions to anesthetic. But oh my god! And the thing is, they gave me this sandwich. It was honestly, it was a beautiful. It was like honestly one of the best tasting sandwiches I've ever had. It looked just like my mum. Just like my mama used to make it, and it was unfortunate that literally like 2 hours later, I was literally throwing it all up. I'm like, oh my gosh, what the
Oh
hell's happening to
no.
me? Yeah, so I think the anesthetic might have played it, but they literally had to drug me up properly. They had to put like two what's it like needlefuls worth of this anti-sickness medicine because it was literally I was heaving. So that was probably the only complication that I had. But like I said, I think I probably ate it a bit too quickly afterwards. I mean, you know, when you finish an operation, like literally my eyes were definitely bigger than my stomach, or my stomach was probably trying to tell me, Modestas, you should wait a little bit. I was like, nah, get on the coffee, get on the sandwich. We are getting recovered. Do you know what I mean? So, but yeah, but otherwise, yeah, they did an amazing job. So, you know, I can't really ask for more.
And usually you can't eat before those operations. So
Yeah.
like it's probably been a while since you had your last meal.
That's it. That was literally just swiping through food challenges for the better part of 12 hours, staying up all night, like eyes wide, like, oh my gosh, I can't wait till after this operation. But even then, you know, like at the end of the day, I got to still stay in shape and, you know, eat the right foods and stuff like that. But, you know, when you got an operation coming around, it's sort of, you just give yourself a bit more of an excuse to sort of, you know, lash out a little bit. And obviously with it, Christmas being around the corner, I thought, but then it's just like, then you got, it's the bad sort of dynamic that you have. It's like, should I give up the abs or should I just eat this like amazing food and like feel bad? You're constantly in conflict with yourself. You're like, I really badly want to have this chocolate cake all to myself. I'm not sharing. But I don't want the bad toilet trips that will probably continue for about, you know, I mean, listen, I'm in my household, I'm notorious for being poopy boy because literally I'll be in there having a poo for an hour after those particular sessions. Luckily, it's not too bad now, obviously. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, I've been eating right and stuff like that, so I've not had too many of those disasters, let's just say.
Amazing. Well, I learned something new about you every time I chat to you, Modestas.
Probably not stuff that you wanted to hear, but hey, do you know what I mean?
It's people getting to see the real you.
The real Baltic gladiator.
So the reason that I wanted to get you back on, apart from to hear all about your toilet habits, was because you have got this other fight coming up in March. I've been practicing saying his name. I think it's Mikhail Olikshaychuk.
Yeah, you done well. You done well. Honestly, that is probably the best pronunciation I've heard so far. But then again, obviously, I say that to every single person that pronounces his name, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you're the best one by far. Literally every interview that goes down the line. But nah, that was good. Properly done. I don't know how long you spent, you know, practicing that, but you done well.
Well, I went back and forward over a few John Gooden clips because, like, it helps somebody English saying the name as well, because the Americans all have totally different way of saying people's names.
No doubt.
You've just got a quick shout out here from Daniel Edwards. You've got a new fight name.
The jokes are flying in already. What have I gotten myself into here?
So let's go back to your opponent. Again, it's somebody who's got more experience than you in the UFC. This is his sixth fight in the UFC. He's coming off a loss to Jimmy Crute as well. So it seems like that's probably where they were coming from with the matchmaking. How do you feel that you match up against him, and what are you looking forward to about this fight?
I feel that I match up really well against him. I feel I have a lot of dangerous tools that again I've not really showcased much in my fights. I say that every single time I have an interview, but it's true. And I've worked on a lot of different things to really bring that out. within the fights. And all I can say is that I'm definitely going to be showing the full skill set, all the full attributes that I do possess. I've been working very extensively on a whole load of different things, but it's just a point of I just need to really be myself. I feel, Jimmy Crute did an absolutely amazing job in my fight. He had the perfect game plan, perfect strategy, and he done very well. But I feel like as well, that it wasn't my full performance, my full potential. I feel like when you're fighting in the UFC and you're fighting in the biggest stage in the world, I've got to take more risks. I've got to be more myself. Really let out who it is that I am from the inside, what I've been training for like pretty much my whole life. And I think that's one thing that I'm definitely looking to bring out into this fight. I've always had a flamboyant sort of flashy style, and I'm looking to bring that out in this next fight, and not just in this next fight, but in all my fights in the future. Oleg Shaychuk is he's a very, very powerful striker. He hasn't gone to wrestle that much or done much on the ground, but obviously you had a year out and stuff like that. I can imagine you'd be working on this sort of thing. So I'm obviously not going to count him out in those areas. But at the end of the day, I'm just looking to mix things up. I'm looking to do everything, but it's about me being aggressive, about me imposing my will and me putting a beating on this guy. That is the bottom line. And like I say, I've been doing all the things necessary to get myself not only in the correct mind frame, but also in the correct skill set and strategy aspect. I've learned a hell of a lot of things. I've learned a hell of a lot of things from my last fight. They say you either win or learn, and I'm with each loss that I've had, I've always learned a massive thing from it. Like I've had a load of I've had a load of experience from these particular things that have happened in my life, good or bad. You know what I mean? And I had a long run of fights where I was doing very well, and everything worked exactly how I wanted it to work. But the Jimmy Crute fight showed me the areas where I was lacking, and it just means that you need to ramp everything up even more so. Like I felt like I was already like doing amazing training sessions, this or that, but there's even more tweaks that can potentially be made. Like we even just with strategy, doing particular sessions that are a bit more, again, fine tuned and geared towards this opponent. And yeah, just the main thing is just to be aggressive and to be myself, because when you go in there, you can have a bit of shell shock, or you can have a bit of stage fright and stuff like that. I've not really had that much of a problem in the past, but I feel like because I've always fought a particular person, I've always been on the defensive. I've always been fighting guys that are wanting to take me down. It's always about defending certain things that they're going to do as opposed to me attacking. So I feel like the defense is now what's bringing out the offense, and the offense has been something that we've been working more on. Not to say that we completely neglected the defense, but you need to put it all together. If you want to fight the best guys in the world, you have to be versatile everywhere. You need to incorporate everything everywhere, and you need to be able to attack. You need to go there and impose your will, as opposed to I'm gonna counter something. So we've been working on a hell of a lot of things, but I feel like I do match up well. I'm looking to put on an amazing performance when I go and fight my next fight. I'm looking to get a bonus as well. I need to go out and finish these people. I'm going to finish. That is bottom line. That's how I'm going to go and fight. So I can't wait to go and do that on 27th.
So we can expect you to be more aggressive in this fight. Is that what?
No doubt. I mean, it's a smaller cage as well, and before it used to be a sort of thing, for more of a counter striker, you'd think, oh, that's a bit of a disadvantage. But I'm loving it. I'm loving the fact that it's going to be in a bit of a smaller cage. You're going to be having to engage more. I've been like, things have just been flowing really well, and I've never felt this good in my training camp, and the way I've just overcome certain things in my sessions. So I'm looking forward to go out and fight. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's a fist fight. You gotta go out and put it all on the line. And I feel like this will be the first of many fights that will show this new and improved mindset and skill set.
I'm glad you mentioned the smaller cage there, because that was something in my notes that I had to ask you about. When I saw Overeem in there this weekend, just gone, like the heavier weight classes just look enormous in that cage.
They probably took like one step and they're already in the middle of the cage.
I know. So like, yeah, I mean, it is something particularly when you're big guys, it is a factor, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously you have smaller space to work on, you have smaller room to move, you can cut off the cage a little bit easier. So yeah, there's certain things that that play to advantage. I guess it plays a bit more of an advantage for grapplers and stuff like that. But I think now, especially like I said, the guys at the top level, they're all gonna be they're all gonna be good in every aspect. They're gonna have their tendencies and stuff like that. But yeah, I think the smaller cage, for me now, the size of the cage doesn't matter. I used to have it in my head that smaller cage isn't a good thing, or I'd rather fight in the 30-foot cage, the one in Abu Dhabi, and this and that. But realistically, Dana White says it makes no difference. At the end of the day, you're still going to have to do the same things. And if you're as skilled as as you think and you say you are, you're going to be able to adapt to the circumstances and the environment, and you're going to be able to still impose your game plan within a smaller environment. I understand, yeah, for bigger guys, maybe it's a bit less room to move, but then that's when you create more angles. So there's always ways around everything, and I'm actually very excited. I mean, not only is it in that smaller cage, just to fight in that sort at the apex, we get to fight in Las Vegas. You know what I mean? So everything is a positive, and I'm blessed to be given opportunities like that.
It's super exciting. Peter says the stats say that there are more finishes in the smaller cage. You want a finish, so I think this is going to work out well.
Oh yeah, let's add to those stats. Why don't we?
Yeah. So he's 2-2 and 1 no contest in the UFC at the moment. His first fight was against Khalil Roundtree. That decision got overturned because he had a USADA violation. How do you feel about people who've had these USADA violations, and how do you feel about fighting someone that had that?
At the end of the day, when you go to the UFC and you're under USADA, if you've been using something, you're going to be found out, and clearly that's what it's been shown within his first fight. Now, understandably, once you're transferring from one organization to then the UFC, yeah, it's understandable that you could potentially get caught because you're not 100% sure of the rule sets and this and that. So in that regard, okay, fair enough. It happened in your first fight, and it's not a recurring violation. It was only one violation and stuff like that. But if it means that there had to be stuff that had to be used prior to the UFC, well, clearly in the UFC, when you're not on these things, it's going to make a little bit of a difference because you're not using the same particular supplements or whatever it is. I mean, I understand that as well. Things can be contaminated, and even me, I have to be so careful. I have to look at everything that's under informed sport, and like people tell me, "Oh, do you want this protein bar?" I'm like sitting there reading through the the nutritional guidelines, and they're looking at me like I'm some sort of freak. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
I'd be a nervous wreck though. Did it get prepared in a factory where there was like something made before that?
Do you know what? I think in America it's probably a lot worse because their supplements get mixed a lot more with bodybuilding type stuff, like GNC. I've heard some of their stuff like has a lot of like they're a bit more broad with the amount of ingredients that are actually allowed. As I think in England we're actually a lot more regulated, so we are a little bit safer. But even then, it's like I haven't eaten there's this thing called Fulfill bars. Yeah, they're like some of the best tasting protein bars I've had in my life, and I've had to steer away from those because I'm like, well, I don't want to risk it. Do you know what I mean? And I'm just like, you're literally taking one of my most prized possessions out of my life. How could you do this, Shisada? But at the end of the day, I'm very glad that there is testing and there's stuff like that. But look, I mean, you have to go in and fight. You have to go in and adapt and stuff like that. So, okay, so what? He had a violation early on. Now he's had to adapt. He's already had 2 wins in the UFC. So fair play to him.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I mean, yeah, you could say, oh, there's been a violation, this, that. You could look into it. There's so many different directions. But at the end of the day, it's been a long time since that happened. Obviously now he knows the system. He knows what's been going. We all get tested regularly. I mean, I've been tested about 6 times or more. Actually, I got tested 2 days after I came back from operation. So, you know what I mean? Like they are on it in terms of doing stuff. So yeah, we know the sport is clean. So cool. I'm just like I said, I'm just excited to go in there. I just want to beat the guys at their best. So
Yeah.
whatever their best is, I want to go in and beat them at their best. So that's it. And that's what I'm expecting to get brought into the cage when I fight.
Yeah. And the last fight, I don't want to dwell on it too long because you mentioned it a little bit earlier and everything that you learned from it. But like that was coming after the highest of highs, your debut, you got the knockout win, the bonus. Like, how difficult was it to handle the way that fight went?
I think it was a lot more difficult because I really did have supreme belief in myself. I think looking back on it, it's just I just did not go out there and perform. It's like the lights were on, but no one was home. It wasn't a full representation. That was what was more. It was more when you know that you could win a fight and then it doesn't go your like. If the thing is, if I literally got my ass whooped for 3 rounds, fair play. Like, do you know what I mean? I've just got completely trashed. I'm just having to work on my skill set to really, really improve. But when you know you have the skill set, you have what it takes to go and beat guys at the top, and you know it doesn't happen for you. But I look at it now. I'm very grateful and very happy for that because it did highlight the areas that I needed to take a bit more focus on. And I think one of the main thing is, you know, if it can help any other athlete, is just you've got to take things really seriously, especially when you get to the top level. If you want to be a champion, you got to do things that other people aren't willing to do. You got to make the sacrifices, you know, have the appropriate discipline that people aren't willing to do. And you know, so I've been even more disciplined, even more focused. I've been thinking more about the fight than ever, and I've been doing things that you know, stuff that like I'm not a guy that doesn't train. I always train hard. It's like, you know, that's never been a problem. But like even more so, like everything that you're doing around thing, like I don't know, just taking everything to go towards your goal. Like I've been given an amazing opportunity where I get to do this for a living. So you got to really make that your lifestyle. And I think about it more and more every day. It's like, okay, you might have potentially 10 years, or probably even a bit less than that in this game. So you really just want to, do you know what? Forget certain things that seem enjoyable, whatever. It's going to be more enjoyable when, you know, when you're at the end, you're rolling in your Benjamins and you're helping out your family, and you know everyone's all doing amazing things and everyone's happy. Than opposed to, oh yeah, you know, you do a couple of fights at the top level, you didn't put everything in there, and you know things don't go your way. So I think it's just given me a hell of a lot of positives from the loss as opposed to negatives. It was just most heartbreaking because you know your capabilities, and when you don't show it, that's what hurts. If you know, I know what I can do. I know I can bring a good fight, and just the fact that I didn't even bring such a good fight that I know I can do. Like I want to impress people. I want to show what I'm worth to Dana White and stuff like that. And when you feel like you don't do that, like it's a bit, you know, that was more the thing. But like I said, we had a lot of lessons that were learned, and I can't wait to actually finally go and do that now. So it's open up the doors to greener pastures. So if I can put it in some sort of way. So yeah, I'm ready now for the future.
And you retweeted a tweet from John Anik where he said he was still high on you after that loss. And he was like still really impressed and thought that you were going places. I saw a lot of other people in the sport as well, you know, like make comments on that fight and the one before and say how impressed they were with you. How much does it mean to you when people in the industry and people you respect and your peers are saying positive things about you, even in a defeat?
Yeah, it's funny because it's a complete contrast to when I lost before. Like when I lost before, it just seemed like everyone just left my side. They, you know, everyone's like, "Oh, I knew he wasn't that good," and even people behind my back were saying that, "Oh, yeah, I knew he wasn't that good." And then next thing you know, I make it to the UFC, and then they're shaking hands and hugging you afterwards. It's just like, come on now, do you know what I mean? But it's crazy how a different response. I mean, obviously you get the hate as well. I mean that comes with it when you're fighting at the top level. But it was nice. That's what sort of gave me a bit more of like extra sort of motivation and inspiration. The fact that, like you said, you know, like John Anik and guys that are really well respected in the sport, still saying good things about you, even in your defeat. That's sort of what was helped me get through a bit of the mental slump that I had after the fight. You know, when you're thinking, oh my gosh, now everyone thinks I'm crap, and like I didn't show anything. What are people going to think of me now, and this and that, and then but then to see the other side where I've actually had a hell of a lot more of support. Like I've made so many good connections and friends with people, like, especially the gym that I was working at before. There's been a lot of people that reached out to me, and that I didn't have that before. Before, I had no one reach out to me when I lost, and this time I had so many people. Like, it makes you realize how much love and like good people and good spirits and energy you have around you, and it makes you really grateful for those things. Like, it really is a blessing to have so many people care that much about you, and want you to succeed. And even when you lose, it's like, I think it's like I said, it's just I'm at a completely different stage in my career than I was before. But it's just so nice to see. That's what really uplifted me. That's what got me back in the gym. That's what helped me, get my mind right. It's like there's a lot of people that are still counting on me. The people that still know what that I can do well. And it's like, well, listen, I'm going to prove you lot right. I'm going to show that your belief is warranted. That I'm going to go out and I'd actually put on some good performances. So that's what got me in the gym. That's what got me training. Unfortunately, that I had to get an injury, but a little roadblock, and we're back. And now we've already got a fight signed. And the thing is, it's like, amazing manager, Jason House, probably one of the best probably the best manager in the game, in my opinion. But yeah, like, I asked him for a fight straight away. Within I think 2 weeks, he got me a fight. So I'm looking now. I want to be really active this year, so I'm going to go out, do my thing on the 27th, and then the main thing is just for me to be myself, and I'm ready to do that.
We've got loads more messages coming through for you, so I'll just pull some of these up. Daniel Edwards said he was already excited about this fight, but smaller cage hopefully means even more action, and he's glad your surgery went well.
Oh, thank you very much.
UMMA Scotland said cheats should be banned for life. I definitely think so. Peter says Dillashaw should have been banned for life. I definitely think if you're injecting EPO, there's nowhere to hide with that.
Yeah, I agree that. I mean, especially him trying to call for an immediate title shot after you've been done for EPO, which is a specific cardiovascular drug. Like it has probably one of the worst performance enhancing substances that you could probably have, and to already still be so. I understand. Obviously, you want to come back and stuff like that. But you will. I don't think you'll ever really be put in a good light when you've been using something that bad. If it was something tainted or whatever, okay, there's speculation. But here, there is no way around it. You use something really bad, and now you're going to want to go and fight for a title shot and this and that. Yeah, I think it's really bad. I think the punishments is what, like, okay, 2 years. I mean, for an athlete that is still in their prime, you could argue that it should be longer, especially for that particular type of drug. But do you know what? I see it from the other side as well. It's like, you don't want to put a fighter completely out of his earnings and misery and stuff like that. Like, he's already had a bad blow to accept that he's been using these drugs. So there's two sides of the coin. But yeah,
I'm not on the other side of the fence on that one. I can't really see his. I feel like there's no incentive to be a clean athlete unless the punishments are more severe for something like that. And I do get there's other circumstances. Other people have potentially taken tainted supplements. I'm not saying that everyone needs that, but there's no ifs, buts, or maybes about what he did. And you guys do is dangerous, and like, to me, that's it's assault. It's criminal. But anyway, that's another show.
But now that you say that, I'm completely against it as well. I'm so glad that we have USADA, because it really means that when you're fighting, you're going to be fighting clean athletes. So know that you're in the best hands, because there's so many other promotions. It's like, you don't know what the other guys is going to be on. So yeah, I'm just so glad that the UFC decided to team up with them, because now, like, random drug testing, it's like, it's a joy to be able to do that. It's like, I'm happy. Like, you almost feel like quite cool, like you're part of some special club. It's like, oh, let me just check it on my USADA app right where I am, and it's good. like honestly, it's like it's a really good thing. I'm glad that they have it.
Yeah, you've got to post on Instagram every time you get tested as well, otherwise it doesn't count.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you got to show the paperwork. Do you know what I mean?
Fake Mancunian says, good to see you back in action so quickly.
Oh,
Daniel
thank
Edwards
you.
again, Mod getting me motivated. Little shout out for me. Hi, Dougie.
There you go.
Thank you very much. Glad you're watching.
That's it. Getting Kate involved.
On top, say Croops a hard fight for anyone and future UFC champion. I actually wanted to come on to some of the fights that are coming up. And his was one that I was going to talk to you about because it's on your card. But right before we came on air, I saw the fight is now off.
Yeah.
So he was supposed to be fighting Johnny Walker. And he's accused him of ducking him. I'm not sure why Johnny Walker's not fighting anymore, but he said he's got a bigger name and a better name and a harder fight. So I guess unless you've got any ideas who that might be, we've got to watch his space.
Yeah, you know, I mean, there's a couple of names up that might make sense for me, but I'm really not sure. I was actually really excited, obviously, to watch that fight. Because it's a really, like, you know, it's a really good matchup. But I do think, yeah, Jimmy is definitely a top contender, and you know, he's already, you know, shooting himself up in the sport, and I definitely think that would have been another fight that would have projected him. But I mean, you know, I'm not 100% sure who's not scheduled a fight. I mean, someone it's got to be someone in the top 10, surely.
Yeah,
so
and to be a bigger name than Johnny Walker, it's got to be.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be hard to, but look, I'm interested. I like the fact that there's a bit of suspense. Like, oh, who could they possibly match them up with? But I mean, you know, like I say, I'm just trying to think who there's actually been matchups made with. I mean, I could see perhaps like maybe like Anthony Smith, because I think he's quite high in the rankings.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I mean, there's possibilities. Like, I have no idea. I'll just be sitting here and speculating, you know, throwing names out there. But yeah, whoever it is, I'm sure it'll be another really big fight, and obviously it'd be very interesting to see the landscape of the light heavyweight division after that fight.
Yeah, well, like this division is so open, and I feel like it's exciting for the first time in a long time because John Jones is moving up to heavyweight, and you've got a new champion in the division, and then there's the fight with Adesanya. Like it's craziness. How do you see that fight going?
Yeah, I mean, it might, like, for me. I really respect both fighters. I mean, I really look up to Adesanya. I think he's a truly superb striker, and the way he handled his last win over Costa was really amazing. Especially because I mean, I saw this clip about telling him about how he was the bully, and, like, you know, stuff like it was nice to see such a tactical, like, such a brilliant approach to the fight. Like, it was very nice. It's very controlled and very composed, and I like that. And he fights most of his fights like that. And Yan, I've just loved seeing him come from, you know, a lot of adversity and then coming out and becoming champion. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's truly inspiring. And he's a very powerful, good grappler. You know, he's at the top of the division. He's a family man. You know, he's a country man as well. So I respect things like that.
I love his story. Just like you said, that he had quite a rough start to his time in the UFC, like a bit of, you know, back and forth on some of his results. So I think that's just such a good message to everybody in the UFC. It doesn't matter. Hang in there. You could be champ. Like that's.
Yeah, I think the main thing is you just got to create, you know, entertaining fights. You know, it doesn't matter, you know, so much that obviously, you know, you don't want to lose too many in a row, but as long as you're putting on entertaining fights and you're, you know, really putting it out there, people can see what your worth is and what your value is, especially if you're fighting the top guys in the world. So yeah. Sorry, what were we saying again?
Sorry, we were just talking about Yan and Izzy and who you think's gonna win the fight.
Yeah. Look, I think Jan probably has obviously a bit of a size advantage. Which
Well, Izzy doesn't even take off his jeans to weigh in at 185, does he?
Yeah, I know. Seriously, I mean, like Adesanya. I mean, I've heard he's quite a big fella. Anyways, I mean, he's the same height as me and everything.
Tall.
Yeah, so he's tall, and I think Jan's obviously going to probably be a little bit more powerful. It's a bit of a smaller cage as well again, so maybe he'll be able to get to Adesanya a little bit more, or Adesanya's movement might just be a bit more, like, a bit better in this fight. I mean, if you're talking about, like, having a guy from Europe to win and solidify himself and beat the guy that's coming up, that's more the side that I'll be looking towards, wanting, thinking that's going to win, especially just how Jan's been able to overcome, like I say, all the adversity and fighting big names, and especially how he fought Reyes. I mean, he looked absolutely superb. So I know he's got a lot of threats that Adesanya hasn't seen before. It's going to be a very interesting fight either way. But obviously, I'm rooting for Jan. I mean, listen, when you're coming from Europe, you got to root for the European man.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you, and I really respect Izzy for taking risks and taking chances and doing this, and he's light at middleweight, so this is just like major. But I kind of think as well, I hope for both of the divisions that Jan wins, because I'm not sure where it leaves either of the division. I can't see him staying at light heavyweight. So then you've got a champ. I don't know. I think it's difficult when you've got a champ that's got two divisions to defend. So that, and the fact that I just think
it'll be hard
Jan
to
is
figure
lovely.
out. Yeah. No, that's it. No, it's do you know what? It's hard. Yeah. Like you said, it's hard to figure out then, does he then want to go back to middleweight or stay fighting light heavyweight fights and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I mean, look, we've got so many amazing fights coming up. It's just a great time for MMA at the minute, and especially with the UFC able to hold so many events within the year. I think they're the only promotion to be able to hold 50 or more events within a year during a global pandemic. Having the right precautions and safety things that need to be put in place. So, I mean, listen, it's a great time to be alive and a great time to be part of the UFC, and I'm very grateful.
It's a great time to be a fan as well. I don't know what I'd be watching if I didn't have the UFC
Saturday nights. There was one Saturday, I think, I believe it was the sort of the little break in between this last card and I think the McGregor card, or I'm not sure, I can't remember which card it was, but there was like no UFC events.
Even that felt painful.
Yeah, like I feel like I just felt like, I don't know, the meaning of life is now lost. Like, why is there no MMA going on? Why is there no news to be heard about on a Sunday? Like, we're literally just sitting there, like, twiddling our thumbs, watching game shows. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. 100%. But you're on one of the biggest cards of the year, because it's Miocic and Ngannou. Like, it's not even like you've just got, I mean, any fight coming up is exciting, but where it is to be fighting in Vegas, to be fighting on a pay-per-view card, it's just, I'm just buzzing for you. I'm so excited to see you back in there, and I'm just so excited to see what you can do. I think that card's huge. It's going to get so many more rivals on you, and you're just going to get a ton more fans from this fight.
Oh, thank you so much, Kate. I really appreciate that. It's so nice having all the love and support from you all the time. It really means a lot, honestly. I really appreciate it. And yeah, like you said, it's a massive card. I mean, to having eyes on you when you got the heavyweight title fight, you got the featherweight title fight. You got Jimmy Crew. You got Sean O'Malley. You got other big fight. Like, it's a massive card, a massive event, first pay-per-view for me. So, this is all the more, it gives all the more motivation to go out there and just put on a performance, because there's going to be more eyes on you. So, yeah, I can't wait to go and do that.
Oh, I'm absolutely buzzing. Thank you so much for talking to me. And before we go, happy birthday. It's your birthday tomorrow.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
How does a UFC fighter deep in training camp and in the heart of lockdown celebrate his birthday?
Not as glamorous as people would think. You know, there's no massive champagne bottles flying around, and and stuff like that. I mean, it's just another day for me. I mean, luckily, I think I have my girlfriend coming to see me tomorrow, but unfortunately, it's not going to be that interesting for her either, because I'm literally, like you said, in training camp. I'm training in the morning. I've got my physio, then I've got to train in the evening, and then the next day's the same, and this and that. I mean, do you know what? I for some reason, I sort of like the fact that I'm actually shut away from certain normalities in life,
Yeah,
because it gives all the more celebration once you've gone and achieved your goal, and achieved certain things that you want to do, and it's just like, that's what makes me different to other people. That's what makes fighters different from other people just in
yeah,
general. It's like, I know that these sacrifices are what it's going to take in order to be the best, and to make your dreams come true. So I'm actually more than happy to make those things happen. But the good thing is, I have my family. I've got loving and supporting people around me, and that's all I need on my birthday, and that is it. I mean, apart from being a year older, the grey hairs are coming out now. Soon there'll be the walking stick and everything. So thinking of it on sort of those lines, probably not so great. It's weird, because as soon, like when you're in your early 20s, you're like 22, 23, you're like, I got plenty of time. And the next thing you know, tomorrow I'm 27. I'm like, oh my Lord, like literally I'm getting closer and closer to 30. It's just like, go away. Do you know what I mean? I want to be in my 20s forever. But
oh, it's been a long time since I've seen 30.
it's you don't look like you've gone a day past 20, Katie. So but yeah,
This is
like
why I love him.
but yeah, I mean, it's exciting times, because look, as the years go on, you become wiser. Well, hopefully, anyways. Hopefully, I haven't become more of a lunatic than I was last year. But like you learn more things about life. I'm very excited about every year, because you learn so much more. You become a different person. You care less about insignificant things, and it's just life is an extraordinary thing to just take lessons, and take teachings that the world has got to give you. And it's amazing when you sort of come to an epiphany, and you finally realize things, and you see it for what it is, and it's great. And then, I mean, that's what makes the journey of life so amazing. Everyone's journey is different. Everyone's got their own story to tell. But again, that's what makes the world such an amazing place. So I'm obviously looking forward to the pandemic being over and everything going back to normal. But at the same time, we're doing what we're doing. Like we
Yeah.
go through every day, and we do what has to be done, and that's the main thing. And we've got love and support of our family. So that's it.
Oh, well, I wish you a very, very happy birthday for tomorrow. I hope
Thank you so
that you
much.
still manage to have a lovely day,
Yeah.
despite not being able to do an awful lot.
Rolling around with sweaty men is always a pleasure.
I can't wait till I can do that again. It's been nearly a year. Yeah, so we are all a million gazillion % behind you for UFC 260, and yeah, just cannot wait to see you back in there and putting on a show.
Thank you very much, and I can't wait to go and do that for everyone. Put on the performance of my life, put on an entertaining fight, an entertaining finish, and go on to bigger and better things. So yeah, it's good time to be alive. Thank you so much again, obviously, for having me on. It's always a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you. Do you want to shout out any sponsors or anything?
I just want to shout out just everyone who's been helping me out, and just like all my training partners. Like, I mean, it'll be too long for me to go through all of them, but like my coaches, Leanne at Distinct Physiotherapy, obviously for getting me back on track. Iridium Sports Agency, sorting me out everywhere, like helping me so much. Like Jason, I've literally been on the phone to him here and there all the time, and even if I'm like, oh, okay, you got a spare minute, he's always got a spare minute to talk to me. Obviously, my dad, He's always bringing life into my camps and everything. My boxing coaches, Terry, Lloyd, Danny Batten down at BST, obviously amazing coach. Raymond as well. Everyone down at Team Renegade as well. I've been getting a couple of sparring sessions in with those guys, and it's amazing to be around such amazing athletes and get some good rounds in, and really help me prepare for this fight. So yeah, I mean, just all across the board, we've got amazing people. I've got amazing support, and yeah, I think collectively, all of that hard work, all that dedication, is gonna bring out the best performance by me. And yeah, I can't wait for all of us to celebrate a victory together.
Oh, amazing. Okay, you take care. Have a great rest of the camp. And yeah, we will see you soon. I'm so excited for it.
Thank you so much. Let's get it, Katie. Let's get it.
Take care. Happy birthday.
Nice one.